tell us about Kristen, what attracted her to the story, what was going sort of through your mind as you were writing that character, what were you looking for, at what point did the sort of, the light go on that you wanted her?
Cole's a weird character. I mean, they tell you when you're making a movie to not make a passive character, but we kind of did. And it's like, so it's a very hard thing because she doesn't do a lot in the movie. It's like it's a very internal thing, and so it's a very hard role to kind of pull off. Ali's character is much easier because he has all these tricks. He has all these bells and whistles that he can do. He can just chew up scenery because he's like the loudmouth. You know what I mean? It's much harder for I was always worried at the beginning for Cole's character because it's not about what she does or says. It's about what you're just kind of feeling, the heat coming off her face of just this kind of bubbling tension of what's going on with her. And originally, this movie was not going to have a star in it, but while we were starting to cast, someone asked me, I think Lindsay Williams, our executive producer, is like, well, what's your dream cast? Like, let's just take a run at it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? I was like, well, and I thought about it, and then I hit on Kristen, and I was just like, oh my God, it has to be Kristen. She's perfect. Because I had just been blown away a couple years earlier because Kristen's a fine actress. Actually worked with her very briefly on a David Gordon Green film that I was an on-set dresser on, called The Undertow, that she was on.
Oh,
she was in Undertow, yeah. It was really crazy. It was really funny. When I first met her, she's like, do I know you? I was like, you actually do, strangely. We met about 8 years ago or something. But anyway, I had just seen, what was the movie? The Runaways. My God, she was so awesome in The Runaways. That was her, like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is not just like a star. This girl can act, man. And so then it was one of those terrible things. I got very lucky because once you, like, lock someone in your head, it's a terrible thing because it's perfect, and if you don't have it, it's just always going to haunt you. But we got lucky. We just took a Hail Mary at her, and she jumped at it. And when I met her, she hadn't done a movie in 2 years, and she said she was just waiting for something that spoke to her, and she said, she just understood this girl, and she understood where she came from, and she liked that the movie had something to say, and she just really wanted to do it. And so we immediately started making the movie.
And was there any version of the script where he is trying to get his hands on Breaking Dawn instead of Deathly Hallows?
Dude, no, you laugh, but it's true. The Twilight series is hugely popular in Guantanamo Bay. I have photographs from the Guantanamo Bay Library where there are Arabic versions of the whole Twilight series there. We got some just because we had them around the office to laugh at. We have Arabic translations of the Twilight books in our office just to have around and be like, yeah, it's real, it's true. There is more. Truth is stranger than fiction, and the Harry Potter stuff is all real. Just so you all know, Harry Potter books are hugely popular down there, and I have all sorts of stock photos, file photos of dog-eared copies of all these different language translations of the Harry Potter books down there. And it was one of those photos that inspired me, like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then that idea of not being able to finish the series. I should have put Twilight. Actually, you know what's really weird? There was a scene in the movie where. In an early draft, where Lane Garrison's character, the kind of the cocky jarhead dude, is like he kind of has this thing going on with that other girl, the blonde named Mary, played by Tara Holt, and there was a scene in there where he goes up and is like, hey Kristen, what you doing? Or hey Cole, how you doing? It's like, yeah, me and Mary went to go see a movie last night at the Rec. Yeah, I went and saw that Twilight movie. It was okay. I swear to God, I wrote that in there. And then I took it out later because this scene doesn't need to be here. And then months later, I was just like, Kristen, you have no idea. I actually talked about your movie in this.